Trying to be in two spaces, be in my culture and be in my religious space. It's a constant balance. It's not easy. The one thing that I've learned above all else is that God speaks to me in artful ways. It's interesting, the art that comes out of that. It's my way of figuring out my identity. I visited these ruins. It's a place that I have thought about a lot and kind of revisited these photos that I took. It always just struck me, like, these are some of our oldest settlements in the United States, or these Pueblo ruins, or these cliff dwellings. It's really going to play around with the blue tones and the orange tones and kind of that contrast. The temperature shifts from the light to the dark, from warm to cool, they're going to be important with this one. I grew up in a little town called Pingree, Idaho. My childhood was filled with art. I would get home from school, and if I wasn't drawing, I would just head outside and disappear for hours into my own little imagination. Our tribe is called the Santa Clara Pueblo. We speak the Tewa language, and we are one of 19 different pueblos along the Rio Grande. I never thought of my parents being a mixed race marriage. The things that they taught us and the conviction that they held, it was never a question to me of like what they believe. They committed their entire lives to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and sharing the gospel. Because of that, there's this spiritual heritage that I feel a deep responsibility to continue to cultivate. But at the same time, I think my generation realizes what has been lost in my culture. There's this yearning to get back to what it used to be, or to preserve what is left. I'm still trying to connect with my culture. There's times that I've sat feeling like I don't belong fully anywhere because I'm not fully anything. And how can I paint something that I don't feel like I belong to or that even wants me?
See? Apple!
Mm-hmm. Let's not get your hair in it either. You should have braided your hair so it would be in the way.
Grandma, look. It's a turtle protecting the ball.
Wow, you've like got a story going on there.
Got my mom and my two daughters here. This is a very common occurrence because I need help sometimes. I wouldn't be able to do it without my husband, and I wouldn't be able to do it without my mom and the whole village that it takes for me to be able to paint. It's just, you need a support system of some kind.
Wow, Mom's a good painter.
It's sticking, so just kind of roll it off. Yeah, there you go.
There was a time I was painting just landscapes, and I had a rude awakening from the Spirit that told me, hey, I gave you this talent. I gave you this ability. I gave you this culture. I gave you this heritage. And you are not doing anything with it. And the Spirit gently whispered to me, Kwani, you know you need to develop your art talent to build God's kingdom. I'm still trying to discover my identity as an artist. How do you consecrate your art talent? How do I build God's kingdom? And how do I connect my culture to my spiritual identity and connect it with my artistic identity? My grandparents were converts to the church. They laid this foundation, and then my mom built on that. The things that she taught me made it easier for me to believe. As I've started to explore that native part of me, I'm trying to make that important to my daughters because I feel this responsibility of being their connection, their bridge point. And art has been a big driving factor in learning about my culture and sharing my culture. Thanks, guys, for coming. My mom will introduce or say hello in Tewa, which is our native language.
Sangitamu hanangung eng. That means, hope your day is well, and how are you doing?
And we are dressed in the traditional clothing of our Santa Clara Pueblo village.
One thing that's common among all Native Americans is music. Music is very important, and because, especially the drum is the heartbeat of the Native people because you feel a closeness to your ancestors through the drum.
I want you guys to take a second and just close your eyes. And when you have a deeper drum like this, you can kind of feel it in your chest, and you can just kind of feel it resonate. Every painting takes a little piece of you. To create takes a little part of your spirit. It was difficult emotionally. I wasn't expecting that. Wrestling with my faith and my culture. I had kept those parts of me separate. This is my native part. This is my church-going part. All these things that feel at odds, like they're pulling me different ways. Sometimes I can't even create because there's such turmoil inside of me. I actually had to step away from painting figurative work because figurative work is so close to my identity, and I wasn't sure who I was. I feel like the path that I'm headed on divides, and I'm not sure which way to go. If I take this way, I'm following my culture, and if I take this way, I'm following my faith. To sit in that tension point, and then to find out, oh, there is a third path where these converge and come together. But how do I make them work together? My faith came at a time in my life when I was just starting to explore my heritage, my spiritual identity, and try to start to marry those two. It was the first time that I'd really connected my painting and my heritage and my religion all together into one. As I was painting that piece, the spirit that I had and the prayer that I had in my heart, I felt like that came through in the paint. I just said in my head over and over again, I believe, I believe, I believe, brushstroke after brushstroke. My example of my faith is my mother, and that is why I painted her, because I have seen her pray. I wanted to honor that. You see her draped in the shawl. The halo is inspired by Catholic icons. Native Americans have a strong Catholic presence, and I use that cultural representation to communicate holiness. But I mostly wanted to focus on her hands. They're beautiful, and the character of a life that has worked hard and a life that has been full of faith and of good works. Art is my way of figuring out my identity. Being a member of the church, of being a Native American. How do they mesh together and how do they balance? And I don't think I've figured it out. I think I'm figuring it out when I allow myself to paint by the Spirit. I'm sharing myself and I'm sharing my truth. It's a way for me to share my testimony. And I've seen people that don't believe in a God, but they definitely feel my belief in my God in a way that is sharing my culture.